Our season this year really got started about a week after last year's playoff ended, and guys, they get their week off and then they start working out and doing skills on the ice, and they did a really nice job. Our leadership throughout the spring and the summer was outstanding. We made a lot of progress, and the guys showed up in great shape, real good idea of what we want to do, and a good idea of what kind of identity we're going to have. So that's been an awful lot of fun for us as coaches, and it's been a good fall. And now we start progressing a little bit, which is a great thing to go through. We get a little green and white game here, and later on in the afternoon, and get a little bit of a game feel to it. And then Monday we'll play Canadian University and get those going. All the things that we have talked about since I stood here 2.5 years ago, in terms of the type of players we wanted to identify to come and play here, the type of players that we would sign to national letters of intent and have come here. Working on the attendance and making MUN a really hard place to play, and then we always talk forth is that the expansion of MUN and getting that to where we want it as a building tied everything together, and on all fronts we're very excited. Everybody's done a great job. I think the direction where we're headed is the right direction, and I think we're doing it the right way, and we're going to be a better hockey team again this year, and I can't wait to get started.
A player who's maybe inserted himself to fill in the role that Taro had last year?
Yeah, we've tried a few guys. Nicholas Muller has done a really nice job for us. Nicholas played the last 3 years in Sweden. His team won a championship there. He's the captain of that team. He played the last 2 years. He was on Switzerland's U20 team and was one of the leading scorers on their team. He's played with some high-end guys. Nico Hischier from New Jersey was one of the top picks in the NHL. Played on the line with him and did well. So he's able to make plays at a high pace, good hockey IQ, and he's fit in real well with those two so far. And you'll see him today. He'll be on that line. He'll be on the power play with them, and hopefully that'll continue to look good to us.
Dennis Zana was a Big Ten All-Freshman last year. Were you guys surprised how comfortable he was at kind of the top of that power play and playing with Rosberg, coming from Alberta Junior Hockey League, where you don't see a lot of guys come from?
Well, you always hope when guys come in, you want to project where they're at in juniors, and what he did in juniors, his 2 years out in Brooks, that we felt pretty good coming in. But you know what? Once you get him on the ice for a couple days and you see his vision and really his poise was probably the best part out there, because you've got to be able to wait and make plays, and with that group in particular, they're going to pass the puck and you got to be there. So pleasantly, I want to say surprised, but we were glad that he came in and did what we thought he could do. And he's had a great summer. He's going to have another outstanding year. But his hockey IQ, I think, would be the other thing that allows him to do that and fit in with that group.
Coach, as far as goaltending goes, you had a freshman in Ritter last year, played pretty well, and then you had the senior Leatherman. Is there a true number one going into the year, or are you kind of going 1A, 1B since it's a lot of back-to-backs?
Yeah, it'll be. I think it'll be a battle again this year. They were kind of back and forth with it last year, and that's not a bad thing in college hockey. I don't think it's like the NFL where they say if you don't have if you have two number ones, you don't have a number one. So I think they'll battle back and forth, and if one guy grabs not the ball but the puck and runs with it, that's fine with us. But that competition within those two was really good. Statistically, they were fairly close in a lot of ways. I think at the end, John had some more wins at the end, and he got the starts in the playoffs and played very well. And you hope that they continue to drive each other. We've had success with that here, in the early years with Bob Asenza and Norm Foster. They did it for 4 years, right down to the Final Four. Norm would play the semifinals and Bob would play the finals. So you can do that, and then you can also ride one guy. But I do think there's some value in that, and especially with Drew being young last year, having the senior or the junior to bump back to was beneficial for us. So we'll see how that plays out. That's players determine ice time.
Dan, is there one area of your team that you've asked you want to see improved in order to push yourself up the standings to be a contender?
Yeah, well, as a ornery coach, there's a lot of areas. We want to be better in everything. I think that one area that'll I want to say as a group, I want to say our defenseman is one area, and by saying that's a one area, that'll allow me to talk to a few different areas. I think we had 3 freshmen playing most last night in the back end, or last year in the back end, plus a freshman goalie on half our nights, and that's hard to do in college hockey, let alone the Big Ten. Those guys have all, the Kriegers had great summers, Dennis had a great summer. They've looked, really, really good, and I think that'll help us keep some more pucks out of the net. The other thing is, I've always been a big believer that when I was in Tampa and I got traded to New Jersey, and we would get out of our zone in Tampa, and we never had odd man rushes. It was just hard to get it out of our zone. It was hard to get it in the other team's zone. We just had to kind of grind and grind and grind. Got to New Jersey, and that collection of defensemen was outstanding. I mean, there's at least 2 Hall of Famers on it, or there might be a couple others, but just the difference in terms of getting passes, coming through the neutral zone, having them join the rush. I think offensively, we're going to be better because our defensemen are better at moving the puck. And transitionally, you just can't do it if you don't have the guys back there. Now, at times we did it very well last year, and you'd see our first 2 series. Northern, the first night, we were awesome. The second night, we looked like freshmen back there and weren't quite so good in the transition. Same thing with Ferris. So I hope there's a little more consistency there. And that it just makes it, there's a point I was trying to get to, is it makes it so much easier for the forwards, and you just get more opportunities when the D are clean and moving things. So I think that's one area as a whole that will look a lot better this year.
Coach, can you touch on the other 2 freshmen in this class and what they bring to the Spartans?
Yeah, both Detroit kids. I've known both of them actually for quite a while, being in the hockey scene down there for a long time. But, Josh is a true freshman, had a great year in the USHL last year. He's a true center. He can make plays. He'll get lots of time on probably the second power play. He might bump up at times the first one, but really sees the ice well, serious, hard-working. Just a very, very good hockey player, and he's going to, a little baptism by fire here early on. He's going to have to play and figure it out and ramp up enough before the Big Ten comes to handle the center position. But I've had him with Sammy Saliba quite a bit, and that's been good. He's been able to learn from him, and it's like having another coach on the line. So he's done a great job, and he'll contribute greatly. Jagger Joshua has been outstanding. Like I don't want to. Some guys come back and they've really improved, and they're a surprise. I knew Jagger was going to be a good player. I think he's smart, he's big, he's got really good instincts, and does a lot of things on the ice, a lot of intangibles. And I wasn't sure when he was going to be a good player for him. Still, I can't say 100%, but he's been ahead of where we thought he would be. And right now, I've got him playing on a line with Nodler and Saliba, and we'll kind of see how that looks. 2 freshmen, and in that highest slot in the lineup, we'll see how it goes. But we've been real happy with all of them, and we obviously had some offense we had to replace with Taro leaving, and I think those 3 guys will put a big dent in it.
Dan, with 3 freshmen in the lineup, you're going to have to be counting on a lot of people that are coming back. Who are some of the players that you're looking for to take the next step and make more of an impact?
Well, I'll start on the back end again. I think Jared Rosberg is poised to have a really good year. I thought his progression over the time I've been here has been great. He's been healthy now and had a great summer. Finished very strong last year, and I think he's going to be one of the better defensemen in our league. It's the league with a lot of good defensemen. He's going to get some time in the top power play, so he'll get some points that maybe last year he wasn't getting. Talking, some of the other guys, I think that Tommy Muller, I thought he had a really good freshman year playing with Carson Gatton. I thought he was very average the first half of last year, and I thought he was outstanding in the second half. And he's picked up right where he left off, and he's even better. So I don't know if the offensive numbers are ever going to be real sexy with Tommy, but he's going to play a lot of minutes and be very good for us. And then, I think up front, I think if Sammy can stay on the wing, I think he's more comfortable there. I think we'll get more production out of him there. But I mean, he took on a huge role for us and had to be a second-line center. Is not a huge guy in the Big Ten, and that was a real. It was a team-first kind of thing, and I think his offense struggled because of it. But that's the kind of guy Sammy is. So I think he'll find his way some pucks to the back of the net. Logan Lambden, is one of our fittest guys, and if he keeps skating and shooting the puck like we've seen here. In the 4 weeks or so we've been on the ice, he'll have I think he's going to have a nice bump to his year. And then our juniors is an interesting group. With Tommy Apap and Brody Stevens played together a lot last year. We look for them to get some things done and get some pucks on that. And quite frankly, the second half, they were a little like Tommy Miller in that sense. The second half, when they played well and could match up against other teams' top lines and chip in some goals, that's when we had a lot of success. So, hey, everybody's got to get a little better, and that's one thing we work at around here is, that's our goal, is every day get a little better, and I think the guys have it. And last but not least, we talked about them earlier, the goalies. Good goalies make good coaches, and those guys, they have to be better this year. They know that, and they put the work in. And I like Les' progression year over year. He needs to keep getting better. Drew is a true freshman goalie. There's not a lot of those, and he held up real well. And record-wise, I think he got shorted a little bit. He had some ties that probably should have been wins as well as he played, and hopefully he can pick back up there. And like I said, those guys, they're going to have better years, and we need them to be better.